Welcome to Culture on Tap. We are a podcast that is about bridging the cultural gap one conversation at a time. We have myself, Xavier. We have Dale sitting next to me, and we have Range with the introverted eye sitting behind the camera. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share on anywhere you listen to or watch podcasts. And make sure you hit the bell so that you get notifications whenever we have new content coming out so that you can tap in with us and so that we can be a resource for you to challenge and encourage you. How y'all doing?
I'm doing good.
I did that last time and threw you off, so y'all were ready this time?
I actually wasn't expecting it again.
Okay.
But
all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So are we ready for fun facts with Range?
We are ready.
So before I even start, because we're gonna do 3 questions again for Range. What is the chance that he does better than getting 2 of the 3 right?
Well, what are the questions about?
I was about to say, are we going past 5th grade?
6th grade?
No, it's back.
Okay.
A 1st, 2nd grade question, 3rd, 4th grade question, and a 5th.
Okay.
I would say there's a good chance that he does 2 out of 3 again.
I feel like these.
I'm a believer.
I appreciate it.
I'm a believer. Because
These
usually I'm not.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But you've
Neither
exceeded, you've exceeded my expectations multiple times. So I'm saying 2 out of 3.
Okay.
and just so everybody knows, these are not predetermined, and
No,
I am
you don't
answering.
No idea.
You don't even know.
Have no idea.
And I am answering 100% honest.
So we're clear. I did just tell a story. There's not a 1st, 2nd grade. There's 2 3rd, 4th grade, and 1 5th grade.
Okay.
Okay.
First question. What is the predominant language in South America?
I think I know this.
Spanish.
Good.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What did you think it
I
was?
thought it was Portuguese.
It's very, very close.
Okay.
Portuguese is very close. It's a very close second.
There you go. Hey,
I didn't even know that was a language.
smart.
You're joking. You did not know.
I thought in Portuguese, I thought they spoke Spanish. Portugal. I caught it. I caught it.
No, you dropped it. You dropped it.
I caught
You
it.
dropped it.
Nope, I picked it right up.
Portuguese. Portuguese.
I didn't even know in Portuguese.
I caught it.
That was amazing.
There you go. That just proves the organicness.
Yeah, Portuguese.
That's where the cheese comes from. Yeah, Portugal. They don't.
They speak Portuguese. Bleh. I caught a Dale tongue.
Don't say that. Don't try to dip you in it.
He's trying to dip you in it. I see what you
Don't
did
put me in
there.
the pool. Don't put me in the pool. I ain't swimming today. All right. Next question. What did the colonists dump in the water in Boston?
He know this.
Because I watched Hamilton. Tea.
Look, you might go 3 for 3.
Boston Tea Party.
Boston Tea Party.
Oh yeah, there you go.
You didn't know that?
I heard of that one.
The funny is he's answering the questions right, but giving us something as we do it. So, you ready for your third one?
I got it.
3
I'll
for
go
3.
3 for 3.
3 for 3.
Oh. See, now you're going to miss it.
What causes the tide to go in and out?
Huh.
Deuce knows this one.
Really?
This is a 5th grader question. So,
What kind of 5th grader answer this question? What causes the I'm gonna say it's something to do with the way the Earth is spinning.
okay, that's not far off.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue.
The moon.
The moon.
What?
The gravitational pull from the moon.
How?
That's
I don't know the science behind it.
yeah, I don't know the science behind it.
Somebody made that up.
Wait, here's
Hey, if you know how that happens, please write it in the comments.
here. So you said someone made it up. I do feel you to an extent, because why is the tide not better or worse when it's like a crescent moon or a half moon compared to a full moon?
How you know if it's not better or worse?
You're right. I don't know. And as I said it, I thought, well, the whole moon's still there. Just because I can't see it don't mean it's not there. So I retract my statement.
Yeah, I don't know. Deuce actually, I mean, I knew it before he said it, but like he reminded me, he was talking, hey, Dad, did you know this?
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And I was like, I did know that, but I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And he
So
was-
I knew it too when I read it, but to be completely honest, if someone just randomly asked me, I don't know if I'd remembered.
Mhm.
Like as soon as I
Yeah.
read it, I was like, oh, I knew
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. But
You
that
did
sounds
that.
like another one of those conspiracies.
Yeah.
Somebody straight made that up.
Yeah, well, we can Google it to see.
Yeah. Oh, because Google always tells the truth.
Oh, that's great. Hey, 2 for 3.
Hey, I'll take it.
I told you.
Two
I
times.
believe.
2 times in a row.
I believed you. I believed in you. I mean, yeah, that was great.
I'm impressed.
Oh man! So we can get into the questions.
Yeah.
The topic today is mega churches. You know, we
Megachurches.
talked about Hillsong documentary for 4 weeks. We talked about celebrity pastors
Right.
last week. So I mean, it only
Seems
fits
logical to talk about mega churches.
the mega churches aspect of this equation this week. So what comes to mind whenever you think of the term mega church?
For me, for whatever reason, the first word that comes to mind is empire. Yeah.
Okay. Like explain.
Just
You notice how I said explain and not explain? What was that?
I guess we just
Explain.
that's where
How you spell that?
well, they teach that in Portuguese or whatever.
Pork and cheese. Go ahead. Sorry.
So, I guess because an empire believes that it's invincible, and I feel like for whatever reason, it feels like I haven't visited all, not even come close to visiting all. A lot of megachurches I have visited, though, have this very above invincible mindset. It
Yeah.
seems like.
It's interesting. I mean, that's now when I think of it, I would have said very big production.
Mm.
And honestly, whenever I think of mega church, I think of celebrity pastor.
Okay.
Now, they're only made off the top of my head. I only know maybe 2 or 3 churches that whenever I think of them, I don't automatically think of their pastor or a celebrity pastor. However, that's one of the things that comes to mind whenever I think of megachurch for whatever reason. But initially, I would say just big production, lights.
So I mean I think I get that. I mean, but the reality is, to be classified a megachurch, you have to have at least 2,000.
2000.
Yeah. So, not that that's not. If you're running 2,000, you running a lot. But I feel like for most of them that are celebrity pastors, they're probably running a good bit more.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Texas has more mega churches than anywhere else in the world.
I would believe it.
Yeah.
Just in Dallas alone.
Dallas is going
Dog.
like for us to have more people than Dallas, they definitely got more people going to church.
Absolutely.
like
Like,
unless
it's
they like go to the
crazy.
early service at this mega church, and
And
I'll go
seeing,
to
but seeing those buildings and those facilities,
right.
the landscaping, the aesthetics, it's just like, we ain't got nothing like that here.
Mm-mm.
We ain't got nothing like that here.
Like to me, you're either a mega church or you're not.
yeah.
Like there's a few that like pop in my head. Like Second Baptist, of course, Lakewood.
Yeah.
Like there's some, but not. I mean, I feel like every other street there's a mega church
Yeah.
in Dallas. They
Yeah.
everywhere.
And they taking up streets.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like they huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about what makes a mega church as
Yeah.
far as it's 2,000 people, regular attendance
Regular,
throughout
like
the
it's not
throughout the
one
weekend.
Sunday.
Right.
Like your regular attendance is 2,000 plus.
Right. So, what are the positives and negatives of a megachurch model?
You go first.
Hey, you go first. I asked the question. You got it.
Positive. Oh, one positive is you should have a lot of resources for multiple
agree.
different things. You're just going to agree with all my positives. Is that what we're doing today? Wow.
No, that is one of mine though.
Yeah, a lot of resources. I mean, whether it's to do multiple studies, multiple people on staff to do different things that smaller churches just can't.
Yeah. Or missions, or even helping out smaller churches.
And even just doing stuff in the community.
Yeah.
Like if that's how even though most don't do that, they can.
Yeah.
Another positive.
So you have opportunity to, because I see you struggling.
Yeah.
Have visitors on the weekend.
Are you speaking English?
You have
can have
visitors. You have visitors,
You can. So can a small church have visitors too?
but you have a lot more, maybe. You know,
The appeal, I would say,
it would be
I think a positive.
aesthetically,
The
they'll
appeal
be
is stronger.
absolutely.
We are struggling at doing this right now. This is not a good look.
I mean, it could have been worse.
Could have been.
Could have been worse.
Here's one: the ability to raise up future leaders.
Why is that? Explain.
I'm gonna
Explain.
Explain. You
First of all, I'm
gotta
gonna capitalize the word ability to. I know
Okay.
that's 2 words. Because
You need to make that a shirt. Explain.
Explain.
but just because you have the opportunity to, like, so for example, as a church plant, not that we're not able to speak into people's lives, which we are, but because we all 3 work multiple jobs, financially, all the above, like the time is limited, where when you're a bigger church, you have more people, more avenues, more connections to, like, let's just use Kevin for an example. I think if we were a mega church, resources, connections, financially, things that we have had to outsource to other people that maybe we do and don't trust the most to speak into a young man that we have fed into diligently, we've had to do because we have no other choice, where I think if we were a larger church, we might not would have had to do that. Positive. Now, whether or not you're doing that correctly, that's not a part of my positive. That's not a part of my positive.
Yeah. No, that's yeah.
You have the positive. You can have food facilities on site, so you don't have to worry about beating the lunch traffic.
There you go.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
You could.
You could. You
Good.
just, but you spending a lot of money.
That's not part of my positive. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, thinking about it, it's like that. I don't know if that's positive, because a lot of money that could have gone elsewhere
Right.
instead of just beating the Sunday crowd to your favorite Tex-Mex spot. You know, that's not, okay. Negatives.
You didn't have any more positive?
I don't. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had resources for missions, resources for smaller churches. You had the rest.
You had the rest.
Just being honest.
So,
You know?
so back to the definition of a mega church. So if So is a church still considered a mega church if they get to, let's just say, 1,000 people, and they plant another church under the same name, same umbrella? That church gets to 1,000 people. They plant another church under
Do
the
they
same
have-
name, same umbrella.
So that
Is that still considered?
yes, because that's why network churching is such a big deal. So, like for example, like if you remember with the Hillsong documentary, it said at any Sunday they had 150,000 people coming to service. It wasn't at one location.
Right.
It was worldwide. So they're allowed to count the attendance as one attendance because it's
The same.
same church per se.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I don't get that. I mean, I guess if you're videoing in the sermon,
I would say the only reason why I feel as though that you could count that is if you're watching
that's the same.
like on a big screen.
Like
you're
if you were
watching,
preaching here and we had one in Dallas and Seattle,
Right.
and it's all you.
right?
Even though I'm not a fan of
Fan
that,
of that? No.
but okay, then you can kind of count it.
Right. But if you have your own eldership, your own, even if you guys are doing a series together corporately to where everybody under this umbrella, we're doing the Daniel fast
Yeah.
in January as, like all campuses.
Mhm.
Right.
Even though you have your own eldership, you have your own pastor,
Right.
I still say if you have your own
Lead pastor.
and all of
Well,
that.
prime example is like Second Baptist. I know the one in Kingwood has a pastor that it's Craig Reynolds, I think, is the pastor there who preaches all year long, except I think twice. I don't know if they still do this, but twice a year they do a Second Baptist not nationwide because it's all in Houston, but they all do
Mhm.
this like it's Ed Young,
Mhm.
and they are all listening to Ed Young. I would still say you don't really get to count that together because the majority of the year you have an
Right.
in-person pastor.
Right.
But they do, I mean, to my understanding, and if you know more about it and we're wrong, you can correct us, but to my understanding, if you carry the same name, you can count it as one attendance.
Yeah.
Now, what I don't know is if you get to count online attendance yet.
Mm.
That I don't know about that.
Yeah, because we in new territory there.
New territory. There's
Right.
some churches that are exploding online that don't run near that in person.
Right.
Especially your
And
more.
you got these young dudes, TikTok pastors,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that means.
I know. I don't
I'm
know
like,
him personally,
"Oh, that's
but
crazy."
Eric was telling me a guy that he personally knows left a family pastor role and is now the internet-based pastor. Like his job is to run. They have multiple community groups that only meet online.
Hmm.
Everything they do, these people are online, and there's like over 600 people involved in this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I
Yeah.
don't- I
But
don't-
then that
New
opens up
territory.
a whole
That's a different
whole
conversation.
can of worms.
Yeah, that's a whole.
That's new territory.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
Negatives.
You get to go first on negative.
All right. I would say from a congregation standpoint, right? It's easy to hide.
So lack of community.
Right. Easy to hide. It seems as though there is a huge pool of spiritual infants or just spiritually dead people who attend week in and week out because it's just aesthetically appealing. And it's just nice to say that you go to the big church in town.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the appearance of a lot of megachurches, I don't even want to say most, I'll say a lot of megachurches, the appearance from the outside looking in, and the couple that I have seen, like I've gone on a Sunday because of whatever reason, lack of depth,
Yeah.
just surface level, just dipping your toe in the water.
I mean, I agree with, there are some mega churches that I think, like Chandler's a mega church.
Yeah.
He ain't
He diving
John
in.
Piper.
Yeah.
Like, so there are the ones out there that do.
Yeah.
But I would say it's a fair statement to say that a lot of them are keeping it very service level.
Yeah. And the last thing that I would say on the negatives is when it comes to a lot of megachurches, it seems as though they're more worried about the seating capacity than the sending capacity.
That's good.
So
That's good.
how many butts we have in seats rather than who's going out, who are we raising
Right.
up and they're going out and making an impact for the gospel. So,
Roads only go one way.
exactly.
Yeah. So
If you build it, they will come.
yeah. Well, and the crazy part is, I went to a pastor's conference, and he did start by saying, this philosophy is probably not for everybody. It's for us. Our solution to fixing all problems is build another building.
Wow.
I mean, I appreciate the transparency.
Yeah, honesty.
And they have a lot of buildings, big ones,
Mm-hmm.
pretty ones. So, yeah.
So, yeah, negatives for you.
Basically, same. Community discipleship, the community lack of relationship, lack of intimacy.
And not saying that
None.
that is like
Yeah.
for last week we were saying, celebrity pastors, we haven't seen it done well. We are not saying the same thing whenever it comes to mega churches because there are mega churches that are doing it well. Now, are there aspects by in which these things are happening? Absolutely. Even in those good churches.
I would even say in some small
In
churches.
small churches, exactly.
But
we're not making, I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
We're not making the blanket
I
statement that
feel
mega
like-
church is
I feel like
evil.
even your healthy ones, I feel like it's almost impossible to not allow the lack of discipleship, the lack of community to happen.
Yeah.
I think now there's probably people that are listening that go to a mega church going, I have both of those things. There's no question if you want it, no matter what church you go to, you're going to be able to get it.
Absolutely.
I believe that. But I think that for a new believer, it would be easy to fall through the cracks. I just think, and I even think if your burden and passion is not to let that happen, I don't even know how you would not
Yeah.
with the manpower.
Yeah.
I just
No.
don't, I don't even know.
Yeah.
So this next question, I think I worded it wrong, but in your opinion, why is the mega? I was
Why is the mega church model the norm?
yeah.
Yeah. That's what, yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Because that is the goal now. It's no longer just to build a sustainable, healthy church. Would you agree that the model now is if your church isn't pursuing the mega church model that you're failing?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is the goal.
Yeah. For one, I think the reason why that is the norm, first off, because we're seeing a decline nationwide in church attendance, to where we aren't far from becoming a post-Christian society.
Right.
So I think a lot of it is safety and fear of pastor and all of the staff. I think it's like, okay, let's have as much people in here as possible so that we can basically make sure that we have job security and safety. Now, I don't know if that is the reason behind it, but I feel as though the two make sense. Like in this equation, like post-Christian society on the horizon. So let's try to get as much as we can while we can,
Right.
for the sake of being the big kids on the block that have all the resources that could help other people out whenever they're struggling.
Yeah. And I just want to say this because it's probably already happening this far into this video. I'm sure there's people thinking these are some jealous guys with a small church, and that's fine if that's not what you want to believe.
Yeah.
I don't think either one of us are saying that mega churches are wrong.
Right.
I'm just saying, well, I guess that would be my question. It's not in our notes, but do you believe it's hard for a mega church to continue to be the church that God wants?
I would say, based off of what I've seen, I would say that it can be done well, right? Like, obviously, any church of any size could get off the rocker and
Correct.
not do what God is calling them to do. But I think if you are a mega church and you are planting churches, so that's where my heart would be. Like, you reach a certain level, and okay, you see a lot of your congregants are coming, even if it's 20 minutes down the road in this area of town, why not plant a church there
Right.
and take 100 people to start? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, that'll still leave 1,900 over here and probably more going to come. And like, it's like a quote unquote hub, but why not plant multiple churches in multiple neighborhoods?
Right.
That you see the demographic of your area of influence being influenced by.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think, and to my knowledge, there are churches that are doing that.
No, I can I know for a fact, and they are a mega church. The Summit,
Right. Yep.
they're one that challenged every graduating college student to give them a year, wherever they're moving for work, whatever, to be a part of their church.
I know Epiphany Fellowship in Philadelphia, Eric Mason and those guys.
Yeah.
They've planted in Camden, New Jersey. They've planted in Brooklyn. They've planted in the north side of Philly, the south side of Philly. Like, they get to a certain level and they see that there's people that are coming from all of these boroughs and other areas.
Right.
And it's like, okay, we'll start a church over there. And there's like 15, 16 different church plants, even though there's still a
Right.
huge church, like they're still actively pursuing the neighborhood and influencing neighborhoods for the gospel and planting churches in those neighborhoods. So I think it can be done
Right.
well, and it is being done well to a certain extent.
Wouldn't you say, even if your passion is to send out, like, do I think that there's some people that the goal is just to be a megachurch?
Yes.
But I also think there's if your church does well, people are going to come.
Yeah.
And what do you do if just
And you'll have a lot of visitors, to my point.
have a lot of visitors?
Positive.
But I'm just saying, like, you could say this year we're planting 3 churches and it's sending out 300 people. But if you have 400 visitors that join the church, like, you're still growing the campus you're trying to send people out of.
Right.
And there is a financial point where you have to go, we want to plant more, but we only have so many dollars in the bank.
Right.
So I'm not telling you, I'm not saying, I don't think you are either, that like, if you're a mega church, you're wrong. Because I know here in Houston there's a church called the Church Project, where they're like, one of their vision statements is the goal is to send out more than we keep in. However, this was a few years ago. The amount of people that were coming in, they just kept growing. And I mean, you can't tell people, sorry, we don't want to be a mega church. You can't come here.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you have to go to one of the other campuses.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not, I just think it's, because I would say, I don't know the number, but I have heard at Church Plant Network stuff and everything, the reason more mega churches don't plant is because they're in so much debt from becoming a mega church. Because because I mean, to think about it, and I was actually listening to a message by J.D. Greer recently where he was talking about when God poured it on their heart to build a bigger facility there, where they're at, close to the college. He says, we doubled in size college students that have no money.
Yeah.
So we were not like, yes, we doubled in size, but we did not double in money, which takes a whole nother leap of faith to say we're still going to plant churches. So I think that that's part of it too. Maybe you're like, I'm not saying that's a positive that you're not planting churches because you're in so much debt, because I don't know that I agree with the church being in debt like that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's a pretty not really sought after people group, I would I would think.
Yeah.
And probably
got no
for
money.
that reason.
I
You
think
know what I mean?
everybody. Well, I mean, I think that's why you see such a drop off between graduating high school seniors till they become married with their first child. That age between that, I think it's less than 17% are involved in church because they are considered a drain on the church's resources.
They're gonna be at the Tuesday night gatherings where there's pizza.
Whether yep.
They're going to
That's
come
all.
eat. They're going to come take everything, and then they're going to graduate college and move somewhere else and get a job and not give you any money.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
the way people look at it.
Yeah. So they are a liability.
Yeah.
Not an asset.
Right.
So
Yeah, because you got to think about it. I mean, the truth is, most college towns, very few kids stay in that college town.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to say none, but I don't know anybody that lives in the town they went to college in.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
they might live in the state, but they usually don't live in the town. So,
Yeah.
so if you're that church, you're just dumping into them and they
For
throw
sure.
up deuces
Yeah.
after 4 to 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say they're probably also the most vocal age group.
100%.
Mhm. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The most radical.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to evangelize.
Yeah.
They're the ones, because they're young. A lot of them, they're zealous. I remember my group, because it was the same way. Whenever I went to Acts Community Church in Pasadena, we were maybe 40 to 50 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds. There was a few sprinkles of 23, 24.
Yeah.
But we were on that campus. We were everywhere we went. We had our Bibles out, and we were sharing the gospel and bringing people into the church.
Right.
Now, we wasn't paying much.
No.
All of us together probably put together about $17
Mm-hmm.
from 40 or 50 of us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we were bringing people in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like we were young, we were zealous, we were sharing the gospel, but that was about it.
Well, and I mean, if you think about it, and the other problem is, and this has nothing really to do with mega churches, but I think it's a good conversation. Our older generation wants nothing to do with them. Like
Right.
no one
Mhm.
wants to equip and
Sure.
disciple and mentor
Yeah.
that generation.
And you know what? I think, at least what I see in my experience, and this may ruffle some feathers, but it is what it is.
Probably ain't gonna ruffle mine.
Yeah, I know. But what it comes off as is whenever older generation don't want to have anything to do with the mentorship, discipleship of the younger generation, what it comes off as is insecurity.
Mm.
100%.
Because it's like you're losing influence and you see somebody else coming behind you who has influence.
Yep.
And instead of sharing your knowledge with them, you're hoarding your knowledge for the sake of, I'm losing influence and I don't want to give him even more or give her even more.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's that about?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's, I pray truly at least once a week, Lord, as I age, allow me to be receptive and someone that younger generations feel like they can approach. I don't want to be the grumpy old guy.
Yeah.
Like I really don't. I mean, it's so funny that you said, like, literally, I DJ'd a wedding yesterday, and the guy that did the wedding was her grandpa. He was a pastor of 57 years, because he told me, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So I walked up to him with the lapel mic, and I was like, "Sir, I need you to put this on." And it already annoys me when they go, "Young man," because it feels like you're little boying me.
Yeah. Patronizing.
Yeah, he goes, "Young man, I have been sharing the word of God for 57 years, and not one time have I ever used a microphone.
Oh, wow.
The voice that God gave me is enough."
Oh wow.
Beautiful.
And I said,
Majestic.
cool. I'm still gonna need you to put this on because we're trying to record the service.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even like. I'm not. I don't. I mean, I might turn you really. And I did. I had to turn him like basically on just enough
To catch it.
to
to
catch
catch
it.
the recording. But like they wanted their service recorded, and I need a mic for that.
Right.
And they don't want a mic on a stand because it looks bad for pitchers.
Right.
And so I'm just, but like, even in that, like, why?
Yeah.
Like,
And it's like, instead of complaining about the generation coming up behind you, how about we mentor and disciple? Because really the reality is that we are basically already who we are because of y'all's model
right.
and how y'all did things and how y'all shared things and how you wanted to give us, you know, things that you never got to experience. But how about, instead of giving us what you never got to experience, teaching us what you never knew so that we can be different from you guys and this could keep growing?
Absolutely. Because the reality is, whether you like it or not, they're still coming.
Yep.
Like that's one of my favorite lines from the movie 42 when the coach is like it or not, they're coming to baseball. And it's like, and that's my thing. Like, the next generation is coming, whether you want them to or not.
Yep.
Be a part of that.
Yep.
We have
Flown off the rails.
no. But it's good.
But it was good, yeah.
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 So I guess my question is, back to mega church. Do you believe this push from mega church has made other churches feel like they're failures?
Yes.
And I want to be real crystal clear. We have both been a part of churches that are nowhere near mega churches that are very unhealthy. Not like from top down. Just so we're not saying if you're a smaller church you got it together.
Right.
We're saying the mega church model, it's extremely hard to accomplish what we believe the bride of Christ is supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Because in my personal opinion, and I had someone say this, a mega church that gives 10% is more than any other church gives. And I'm like, yeah, but you're a mega church. Is that all you can give for missions is 10%? Like, if someone said, our church gives $600,000 to missions. I was like, and that's 10% of y'all's giving. I was like, so in other words, y'all bringing in over $6 million, and this is all you can give. Like, what does that say?
Yeah.
How much did you spend on the building, though?
Yep.
And I mean,
And the landscaping
and that's a struggle that we have, because not that we can afford a building, but we've already agreed we're not going into debt. So either someone's got to start making sending us some money, or someone's got to give us a building, which both could happen.
Yeah.
But probably not. I mean, Lord does crazy things.
Yeah.
But last time I checked, Range ain't got a building.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like it puts unnecessary pressure on the smaller churches to try to, first off, they feel like failures. So it's like, what do we need to do to get to where they're at?
Right.
Oh, they stopped calling their sermons to appeal to a younger crowd. Like, these are things I've literally heard. So we'll call it messages,
Right.
instead of sermons, because that's going to appeal. It's like little things like that, and it's like, oh, really?
So it's funny that you say that. One of our friends, I'm going to keep his name out because if they're leaving this church, but if his pastor saw this, I don't want names to be put out there. He watches us diligently. They just got through watching the Hillsong documentary and watching us talk about it. And talking to him, he said the scary part is that model is our model.
And it works.
And it works. And he goes, and so now my question has been to our pastor, because we've seen the effects in a negative light, are we changing our model? And their pastor's answer was, I'm choosing not to watch the show. And which is scary to me.
Yeah.
Which I even said, that's scary. Because the reality is, let's just be honest, if someone does something successful right now in Christianity, everybody else follows suit.
Everybody wants to do it.
I mean, the Hillsong movement has been nationwide.
Yep.
Whether it's how we do worship, how we do church planning, how we
write
code,
songs,
all of it.
everything.
All of it. And some of it is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that you throw it all out, but we're seeing the cracks in it. And so now I feel like there's a panic going, so who do we follow now?
Yep.
Who's the next big one?
Yep.
And so and it's almost like, okay, are they crossing the line? Oh, they crossed the line and no one gave them bad feedback, so we can cross that line now. Like, everybody's waiting for that moment. And so, yeah. And I guess my question is, if you are a mega church, if your church in your community is putting other churches out where they have to close the doors, is that a godly thing?
Mm.
Or are you coming alongside them like, no, you can't make your stuff stop growing? And maybe that's not your heart, but are you going in those churches going, hey, how can we help y'all? Like whether it's let's come together or what does that look like?
Yeah.
Because like I'll be honest, like if a block away a mega church decided to plant, we in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so I mean, it's just a thing. So
yeah. So in closing, like what
my closing statement would be
leave with?
Yeah, my closing statement would be, if you are a mega church, do you think when you stand in front of Jesus that he will be happy at the butts and the seats or the disciples that you made? And if you aren't a mega church, if your goal is to be a mega church, then you've already lost the mission.
Yeah. The only thing I would add to that is, if you aren't a mega church, you are not failing.
No, you're
And
not.
stay diligent and stay obedient to what you feel as though that the Lord has placed on your heart to serve your area of influence well.
Because as we've seen, mega church has its own set of problems.
Absolutely.
And my encouragement as church planters, it's easy to see what you're not. See what you are.
Yeah.
What are you doing well?
Yeah.
Like, thank God for those moments.
Amen. Well, this has been Culture on Tap. Tap in with us next week as we have another jam-packed episode of laughs, maybe even tears.
Maybe even
Next week. Next week is going to be.
next week's gonna be.
We may not be crying.
This
but
might be it.
This may be it. This is it. This is
we
it.
might step on
So
Timmy's toes next week.
it's been great. We've enjoyed it. No,
We
I'm
love
kidding.
you guys no matter what. You might not love
But
us.
tap in with us next week as we talk about something that is going to be very intriguing. Love you guys. Culture on Tap is sponsored by Houston Radio Platinum, playing the best classic hits. You can download the Houston Radio Platinum app. It's in your app store, or just ask Alexa to play Houston Radio Platinum.